The Saiyans arrive on Frieza Planet 97, 15 days later. Touching down, Vegeta gets his first glimpse of an alien world, noticing the many orbiting satellites. Remarking how advanced the society seems, Kakarot says this is where he most likely would have been raised had he not been sent to Earth. A random soldier asks Vegeta who he is as he doesn't recognize his face. Kakarot interrupts saying it doesn't matter, and hints for Vegeta to walk off with them. As they make their way through the corridor, Vegeta asks if this Frieza guy is on planet, but it's unlikely. As the pair shower up, Kakarot knows that Vegeta needs to improve before any moves can be made. Even Zarbon or Dodoria could most likely take him at this point. They go to gear back up, but Vegeta has some objections about wearing traditional Frieza Force armor, saying he'd look silly. He marches over to a nearby scientist and demands they make his usual gi, which leaves Kakarot confused. Does he just walk around with that design on him? Moving forward, he tells Vegeta that Frieza is a priority, but first he wants to make it clear they don't have the slightest chance against him in their present forms. To get stronger, they'll need to fight more than just practice battles. The prince is on board with the idea and asks Kakarot if he's ever fought Frieza before. While the question catches him off guard, Vegeta asks how the fight went. Kakarot laughs at the word fight before left to assume that's what caused the nasty scar on his forehead. 2 years prior, Kakarot just returned from conquering a planet. The Emperor and his subjects are shown to be less than grateful. Dodoria states that this guy kind of reminds him of that idiot that tried to stand up to Frieza when he destroyed planet Vegeta, laughing that he died with no dignity. Of course, we know this man to be Bardock. Enraged, Kakarot lunges towards Dodoria and lands a hook to the right side of his face. Then turning to Frieza, still in a fury, he dashes towards him. With using only his mind, he repels the Saiyan, sending him to the ground. Frieza tells the others to get him to a healing pod as he still may be of use to him. Coming back to present time, Kakarot states his outburst was pointless and nothing was achieved. All it got him was a reminder that he was still a slave. That's when he brings up the legend of the Super Saiyan. Going on to explain it, this gets Vegeta fired up, and with that, the two move out. A soldier stops him in the hallway and starts talking trash to Kakarot, mentioning his recent rebellious streak and saying that he's never even liked the Saiyans, and he thinks the reason why is because they're a bunch of loudmouths with a penchant of aiming above their stations. So in absence of Frieza, he'll instead teach Kakarot a lesson he won't soon forget. Outside, the soldier asks who Vegeta is, but Kakarot says there's no point in telling a dead man. Kakarot powers up, sending the soldier scouter into a frenzy, reaching all the way to 35,000 before exploding. The look on the man's face makes it clear that he's made a mistake. Kakarot lands several blows before flinging him backwards. The soldier fires a ki blast, but it's easily deflected to the man's horror. Kakarot shouts that the Saiyans are a race of warriors. Battle is their purpose, and he cannot compare to them. Sending him to the air with a series of uppercuts, he tells Vegeta to finish him off. Firing a Kamehameha, the soldier is no more. Kakarot states that this will make an ideal signal fire for announcing their rebellion. With that annoyance out of the way, it's time for food. On an unknown world, Zarbon's scouter alerts him to the death of this man, whose name was Gorcho, but they can't determine who killed him. Dodoria thinks it's insane to believe anybody managed to kill him as his power exceeded 20,000. Frieza asks what information they have on the assailants. Zarbon reports that both offending powers exceeded 25,000 before disappearing. Frieza then goes on to say that if he were to guess, he'd say Kakarot has something to do with it, as he definitely has the motivation. Kakarot ponders their next move, knowing Frieza will probably investigate the death of Gorcho, and they still can't control their ki well enough to stay hidden forever. With the scientists actually making Vegeta's gi, they begin to head out. One of the men lets them know that, hey, you left your scouters behind, but they don't think they'll be needing them anymore. The two walk off as Kami is seen looking in, happy in the fact that the two Saiyans have decided to work with one another. It'll be interesting to see how this develops, but you'll have to find out later, I'm afraid, in the final chapter of Super Vegeta Den. Right now, back on Frieza Planet, a young lady picks up a reading on her scouter. Believing Kakarot to be back, she jumps up and runs after him as her friend shouts out for her to wait. We learn that her name is Radish, and her friends think less than flattering things about Kakarot. As the two Saiyans pass through a crowd, they deal with the standard racism, but karma is swiftly served. Vegeta asks where their hatred comes from, and Kakarot says they're just jealous. Hearing a voice from behind commanding him to stop, he turns to find Radish, saying he doesn't call, right? He's been gone for months, and asks where he's been all this time. Vegeta inquires to this woman's significance, and Kakarot is hesitant to confirm, but the girl has no shyness in saying that she's his girlfriend. Asking who Vegeta is, Kakarot informs that he's another Saiyan just like the two of them. He's been recruited to help them with their cause. He then asks his lover if she is up for a sparring match. She tells him not to hold back and the fight begins. Kakarot doesn't expend much effort in dodging her attacks. She tries to amp it up, but to no luck. A random soldier comes over and tells him to stop fighting instantly, but Radish quickly gets rid of him. Back to the real battle, she's still unable to land a single hit. Kakarot closes his eyes and continues his evasion. And suddenly, he fails to sense her ki. He opens his eyes to find her going in for a sneak attack. Actually, literally, as the faux kiss acts as a ruse for an opening, but the kick still doesn't connect. Quickly counting up to 100, Kakarot blocks the last kick and says time's up. With the match over, he and Vegeta once again walk off. He comments how the great Kakarot could be stunned by something as simple as a kiss. Getting in his face, Kakarot tells him that he doesn't know how terrifying she can be. When asked to enlighten him, he jokes, Did you know she used to be a man? And with that, Super Vegeta Den comes to an unfortunately abrupt end.